Hey guys. So I just wanted to get on here and I don't have a script. I don't have plans. I don't have anything that I've been even just thinking about that I'm supposed to talk to you about, but I just feel compelled that I'm supposed to get on here and connect with you guys and just talk about whatever comes to my mind and in my heart and in my soul. So that's what I'm going to do. There's this wonderful quote that says, "A man is at his wisest when he realizes how little he actually knows." I've always loved that quote. I know that I am not a YouTuber. I am not an influencer. I'm just a regular person. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have a few different jobs. And I also know that I have this message and I have these things that are inside of me that need to come out, that I need to be sharing. So if you'll overlook my lack of knowledge of all things techie and just pay attention to the message, then maybe some of it can resonate and maybe we can connect. Anyway, I hope that you can get something out of it. So kind of, kind of want to just start from the beginning. For me, I had a very interesting and colorful childhood. We never stayed in one place very long. A lot of different interesting characters. It was very colorful. And there were good times, there were bad times. It just, it is what it is. But the earliest memories of this kind of magic inside of me, I remember a few times I would really, really want something. I remember one time I really wanted a perm. I was about 9 years old. Everybody had perms. I really wanted a perm, with the little swoop over the top of your head. I think they called that rainbow bangs or whatever. And then all the rest of your hair was just wild and curly. And that was the thing. And all of my friends had perms. And my mom was not having it. I had kind of fine hair. I had hair that was on the shorter side. And she just was like, I don't know. She just wasn't having it for a long time. And so I remember hearing that you could wish upon a star. Um, and I remember, what else did I hear? Oh, the little trolls. So back then, these little, I don't know if you guys remember, for the younger generation, I don't know if you know about this, but back then, trolls were really popular. And so you were supposed to collect as many as you could. Anyways, so the thing was going around my friends or whatever, the kids, was if you rubbed the troll's hair, you could make a wish and it would come true. And I remember not just about the perm, but that's just a really strong memory that sticks out. I would wish on the star, especially if I saw one that was moving or falling. And then I would rub that troll's hair and I would wish for the perm. And I remember when I did both of these things one night, and it was like 2 days later, my uncle, who was a hairdresser, was like, "Hey, your mom said I could perm your hair." And that was just one example. There was several things that would happen to me like that I would use this. I didn't even know I was manifesting, obviously, but I thought I had hacked the system. I knew the magic code. And so I would put all of my belief and all of my power and all of my heart into these wishes. One time I remember I really wanted a 14 karat gold ring. That was the big thing, the yellow gold, 14 karat gold, yellow gold. And I ended up getting one of those. One time I really wanted to go visit my father, and it wasn't his time for visitation, and I manifested that, and that happened within a week. And it was just like, things like that were just the norm for me, because I figured out that I had this magic inside of me, or I had tapped into something that others didn't know about or whatever. And so that's kind of how a lot of this got started for me. Let's see. I had, this is going to be really deep, and I hope you guys can kind of follow this, but I had an ex-husband. I got married right out of high school, and I was married until I was 30, to my first husband, and he was just a force. He was a deeply complicated man, also a very driven man, and I don't really want to go into all of that, but I do need to just touch on something. It was like we were like oil and water. We clashed a lot. We were two totally different types of personalities. I also had a combination of 6 kids, 4 of them biological, 2 non-biological, but they were all mine. And so life was just extremely, extremely hectic and chaotic. And we did not see eye to eye a lot. And I'm trying to get past the surface level of this. I'm trying to think of the right words to explain this, but I know that like twin flames, I know that's like a really catchy, trendy thing right now, but 20 something years ago, I figured out about twin flames, even though I didn't have a word for it, because it was like, if I focused on my spirituality and I focused on bettering myself and I focused on serving others and I didn't act selfishly, I would put others' needs above my own. I would really zone in on my spiritual practices. Things would get better. Things would be lovely. If I was working on my own healing, things would be lovely. But when you're young, it's not always, you don't always have ideal circumstances to be able to do that. So of course, just like any other young adult, there would be times when I would be selfish or lazy or not super self-aware or whatever. And then it would be like life would just get chaotic and we would clash and we would fight and it would just be so heartbreaking and so dramatic and everything. And I guess the way the way I'm trying to explain it is like, that was, I don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but it was like when I would work on myself, I could bring out the beauty and the magic. And this man was so addictive to me. I mean, I was so addicted to him. I was so drawn to him. Twin flames are the hardest thing in the world to explain. And unfortunately, we don't always end up with our twin flame because both people need to heal. Both people need to be on their healing journey and both people need to be super, super self-aware for that to happen. But the end result obviously is a magic, a high, unlike anything that you can ever find in the world. So I don't know why I was compelled to bring that up, but I will do a video later and just get really super deep into that. I feel like there's a channeled message coming through. I have kind of learned how to control that a little bit better. I went from having to be under hypnosis to get a lot of those messages, and then I learned I could channel while not being unconscious. And then now I'm kind of working on blending the channeling with my everyday personality. And so just kind of letting it come and flow whenever it needs to. I know that for me, I've manifested so much in my life and so many miracles, and I'm enjoying life somewhat in the fifth dimension right now, and I'm only accelerating higher. And one of the keys I want you guys to all remember, there's a lot of them, but one of them, I've always found that when I have a journal, and it seems like all successful people always say this, whenever you have a journal with you all the time, you write down your thoughts, you write down your ideas, you write down your whatever you're learning, you write down lists, you just constantly empty your mind. It's such a therapeutic and almost spiritual experience. And that has really helped me advance a lot. When I got consistent with that again, it seemed like I accelerated pretty quickly in a lot of areas, and I can finally touch the 5D now, and I know that I'm only going to go higher. So that's just a little hack. You guys can take that and make it your own. But the channeling message that I feel like, oh, I remember what I was going to say. I know a couple of weeks ago or whatever, when I was in here with Jennifer and I was channeling, I kept looking all around the room. It was so surreal because I kept seeing these lights. I just kept seeing these bright lights everywhere. And it was sparkly. And then I looked back at the video and I was like, oh my gosh, I look out of my mind. But I kind of just wanted to explain that to you guys, and just, I've worked on that. So I don't want to look like some kind of strange person, just kind of with my eyes darting all over the place. I've worked on trying to learn how to manage that and just kind of defocus a little bit from whatever visuals seem to pop up when I'm channeling. And so anyway, the channeling that I have today, it's kind of been on and off of me all day. They've kind of been coming and going in and out of me and my brain and my heart and my soul all day, is this. And It is from Elijah, but it's just, don't judge anybody for their spiritual practice. If someone is deep into the Bible, that's fine. If someone is into tarot, that's fine. If someone is a medium, a channeler, a clairvoyant, a psychic, an astrologist, a witch, it doesn't matter. As long as all of those people are finding whatever it is that they need to find to tap into the metaphysical, all of those people are transforming their, if as long as the main point that they never forget is love. So that's the main point that you have to always remember, is that love is the only thing that's real. It's the only thing that matters. It's the only way you can manifest change. Love and everything that goes along with that, which is gratitude and respect and patience and kindness and giving. Those are the things. It doesn't matter how the person comes to it. It doesn't matter what their spirituality practice is. And what I'm getting from Elijah is that actually whenever you say an ugly comment or whenever you judge in your mind about just because someone else's beliefs or method of getting there, their vehicle to get there is different than yours, whenever you judge that, you're actually taking steps backwards. And so if you're wondering, why are you not accelerating faster? Why are you not getting to the 5D faster? Why are your manifestations not materializing faster? You need to just look inside yourself and really take an honest inventory and figure out if that is something that you're doing, and just try to correct that behavior, because you actually get pulled way backwards. You actually miss out on a lot of ascension and a lot of manifestations and blessings and miracles when you judge in any way. You are doing so much damage, and I cannot emphasize this enough. It's equivalent almost to murder and hate. So if you don't understand something, it doesn't matter. These are all, as long as that person understands love, that's all that matters, because we're all in different vehicles, but we're all reaching the same destination. And so that destination is a higher learning, a new earth, a better world for everyone. I know someone who sees angels and talks to angels. I know someone who gets a lot of downloads with plants and herbs and things like that. I know an acupuncturist who is super, super, super in tune with the spiritual world. I know a bunch of people that use the Bible. I use the Bible. It's one of my favorite ways to kind of get in tune with the spiritual world. All of these different things, there's nothing wrong with any of them, as long as the person is not doing harm to another in any way, shape, or form. It's beautiful. Trust me, it's beautiful. You need to let go of all preconceived notions, all judgments, anything from your past that is painful, that makes you want to judge another person's route. Whatever's in your past is in your past. You have to move on from that. You can't project what other people did to hurt you onto anyone in your present or in your future. And so the fastest way that you can kind of close that gap and move ahead is just to let go of that and realize the only thing you can do is transmute pure love. And the universe and the spiritual world and the metaphysical world, they know when it's not authentic. They know when it's authentic. And it does always start with yourself as well. Fear is the opposite of love. I know when people are at their highest, when they have the most expansion, they want to save the world. I've experienced that. I've experienced those symptoms, and that's when you're really right at the door of the 5-dimensional world. And so when you are at your most expanded, you want to save the world. You want to do everything you can to save your country and your city and your state and your town, your neighborhood. But then whenever you let a little bit of fear come in, it's like you go backwards, and then maybe you just want to save the people on your street, right? Or your friends. And then some more fear comes in, and maybe you just want to save your family members and the people you really truly love so much. And then when you get a lot of fear comes in, and that's a whole other video I can go into and make a whole video just about cortisol and adrenaline and how that ties in with the metaphysical. And this is exactly what Elijah is giving me right now, because if you think about it, when you have all this fear, you get to the point where all you want to do is just think about you, because fear is the opposite of love, and fear pushes out love. And so you have to release all your fear. You have to really commit to your spiritual expansion and your gifts. And all of us have a set of gifts, a unique set of gifts that are here just for what our life path is. And so when we're using gifts that are not ours, or we're not meant for us, or we're trying to materialize gifts that we weren't given, I know that I'm probably not ever going to be in the women's NBA. That's not my gift, and I'm okay with that. But it's like a great example. I had this really powerful position in a company several years ago, and I was the assistant manager, and I had a lot of power in that company. And when I was let go, I was hurt and fearful and worrisome and felt betrayed. And I kind of fought that for a second. But then when the aha moment happened, it was like, I was so grateful that I was let go from that job. I was so grateful because then I started on this path of growth. And I realized that the gifts that I've been given were not being used at that job at all. And I wasn't even happy at that job. I just really appreciated the income. But nothing else about that job made me happy. And so I wasn't being my highest self when I was at that job. But then I really got to take the time to get to know myself and figure out what my strengths are. And now, one of my most prevalent jobs is a substitute teacher, and I absolutely love it. That's truly my calling. And every other avenue that I have work, it's in communicating with people almost on a knowledge basis or a compassionate / teaching basis. And that's where I find joy, and that's my calling. And so if you can figure out those things that are natural to you, that's when you're going to really level up, and it's not going to feel like work as much, because you shouldn't be trying to force gifts or abilities on yourself that you don't really have. You need to lean into the gifts that God gave you and the type of person that God created you to be, because you were made perfect. We were all made perfect, and we just need to find that thing that is easy for us, because we all have these gifts and we all have these abilities, and that's exactly where you need to go with that. That's exactly where you need to lean in. And it's just really important to not judge, to not project, to not dwell in our past. Release everything. You have to release everything. You'll become so much lighter. Also, when you believe in magic, when you believe all of these things that feel like, oh, that's too easy, believe in it, do it. Whatever it is, whatever you're learning in your spiritual practice, just do it, because there's nothing that's impossible. And I have learned that. I've manifested so many things, you guys. I manifested my perfect partner. I've manifested vacations. I've manifested money. I've manifested homes, so many things, because I'm just leaning into the unequivocal, unwavering faith. And I understand now that love is the opposite of fear, and I don't have room for fear, because all it does is just block everything. The only thing that I can trust is the good and the love, and that has not failed me. Being able to wake up every day and be myself and not feel as though I'm in competition with anyone. I'm not fearful of anything or anyone. I'm constantly reminded and constantly being reinforced all of the good. And it's like that just manifests more good for me. And the more I talk to people about being your authentic self and tapping into your spiritual power and realizing that you are made perfect. You are made so perfect, and you have a mission, and you are a divine, holy being. That just strengthens that thing inside of me so much. I just feel like we all have a message to share. We all have this divinity inside of ourselves. And if we can find that spiritual path that works for us, as long as we're getting in there and tapping into this universal knowledge of only love is real, then we can really start to see a ton of miracles, and we can really start to see the new earth so much faster. I mean, can you guys feel it? We had the 11/11 2 days ago. We have the new moon, which is tonight. Tonight is the new moon in Scorpio, and I can just feel all of these energies. They're so beautiful, and I'm so just like tapped into this this whole new way of being, and this whole, like, this other, it's like a paradigm shift. It's so powerful, and I can just see and feel and sense things that are so beautiful and so magical, and the world is changing so rapidly right now, and it's really gonna be a beautiful thing, and I just hope that everyone can tap into that. You do your journaling, you do your meditation, whatever that looks like for you. Get your feet in the dirt, eat as organically as you can, pay attention to your thoughts, because your thoughts become things. And if you catch yourself with negativity, anything that's negative is fear-based. So if you catch yourself with any negativity inside of you, just cast that out. You are so powerful. You can create any type of life that you want. You can create any type of partner, any type of job. You can create any kind of thought process inside of your mind. You have so much power. You have trillions of angels and ancestors and spirit guides and God, all of that inside of you and around you, just waiting to help you. We have all fallen asleep. There was this great lie that was told to mankind, and we all fell asleep. And now it's such a wonderful thing for me personally to witness all of us waking up. And it was slow at first. I would just be like, wow, I can't find anybody else that can see the truth here. But now it's happening so fast. I'm so excited, and I just can't wait for all of you to connect to me, and all of us just to be divinely guided to each other for this new earth. I hope you guys all take advantage of this new moon tonight in Scorpio. This is a season for change. This is a season for strong magnetic energy, for love, for manifesting. Self-reflection will be very powerful right now. Tonight, you should feel a shift. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night, and I will see you next time.